Super Rugby semi-final number 2. It's an all-New Zealand affair with the Hurricanes travelling to Christchurch to play the Crusaders. These are two of the best teams from Super Rugby 2019. In terms of points, these were the two highest place getters from the regular season. The Hurricanes most wins with 12 wins, 1 draw and 3 losses. The Crusaders 11 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses, although one of their draws was that cancelled game. So they could have quite easily ended up with 12 wins as well. But yeah, very similar records, 1st overall and 4th overall. But as I said, on points, the Hurricanes would be 2nd and hosting a semi-final this week if it was a round-robin draw. But we'll get there eventually once the conference system goes out. So yeah, 1st in New Zealand up against 2nd in New Zealand. It's a pretty epic looking battle. You do look at those 3 losses that the Hurricanes had, though, and you know that 2 of them were at the hands of the Crusaders. So it does seem like a pretty uphill task for them. But there's not that many teams that you would back to go to Christchurch and get a result. The Hurricanes are perhaps one of those teams, although in recent years, again, it has been pretty tough going. In terms of the lineups, which I'll put in the description so you guys can have a gander as well, they're pretty stable from last week. I don't believe the Crusaders have made any changes. It's still Franks, Taylor, and Moody in that all-black front row with Barrett and Whitelock making it an all-black type 5. Douglas remains the only non-all-black in that forward pack with Matt, Todd, and Kieran Reid alongside him in the back row. Bryn, Hall, and Moonga are still preferred. Well, Moonga's always going to get the start, but Drummond is on the bench for this one. George Bridge, Sevu, Reece, and David Havili are the back 3 with Crotty and Goodhue in the midfield. So yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the Crusaders team. The likes of Ennor on the bench. As I said, Drummond, Taufua, Alaalatoa, Makalio. It's a pretty strong-looking Crusaders team. For the Hurricanes, they have had an enforced change with Whetukamokamo going off in that game against the Bulls. I think he had a hamstring injury, so he is not fit to play. Rayasi comes into the lineup to start on the right wing. He got 2 tries in the game against the Bulls, but he also got a yellow card. So it was kind of an up and down performance from him, but he's definitely showed a lot of talent in what minutes he has this season, so we'll see how he goes. That being said, Hussein is still a real loss because he's been in top form as well. So the likes of Toby Smith, Dane Coles, and Jeff Tumunga-Allen will have their work cut out for them at scrum time to make sure they can contain that All Blacks pack. Likewise, Blackwell and Walker-Leawere will have to do a job against those All Black locks. But they have been doing pretty good this season. I kind of thought the locks would be a big weakness for the Hurricanes this season, but it hasn't really proven to be the case. Princep, Savia, and Gareth Evans are the back row. Vive Fita is back from suspension, but he's only in on the bench. But what a guy to bring on when you need some power and some energy towards the end of the game. Perenara and Barrett are 9 and 10, kind of no surprises there. Laumapi and Umaga-Jensen are the midfield. And if you watch the 10-14 here in New Zealand, they did point out there was a little bit of disjointed play between Laumapi and Umaga-Jensen in that last game, and they basically identified it as back to not having that much experience playing together. So it is a key combo, that midfield combo, to kind of shut things down. And you look at Crotty and Goodhue, they know each other pretty well. So that could be an area where the Crusaders can get some pay against the Hurricanes. But if Laumapi gets the ball and runs at Crotty, who knows? I mean, Crotty's an able defender, but he has had his injuries in his time. Ben Lamb, Rayasi, as I said, and Jordie Barrett round out the back 3 for the Canes. For the bench, as I said, it's Fafita. Almua's still there. Richard Judd, James Marshall, Ben May. So, I mean, on the squad on paper, there's a lot more All Blacks caps in that Crusaders side. But as I said, the Hurricanes have been a pretty good team this season. And to be fair, I feel like they've been kind of getting better. It's interesting that the 2 results they have played this season, it was, what rounds? It was round 2 where the Hurricanes sent kind of a semi-B team down to Christchurch, and it was round 7 in Wellington where it was 32-8. So 38-22 and 32-8, the 2 wins for the Crusaders. But yeah, since week 7, I feel like the Hurricanes got a fair bit better, and the Crusaders did have a bit of a stuttering finish. Still finished easily top, easily the best team, but they had those couple of draws. They had a loss over in Fiji with a fair bit of travel included in that as well. So take that into consideration. They won't have had any travel this time because they're based at Christchurch for as long as they can keep in the comp. So yeah, maybe the fact that it's now like week essentially 20, maybe we'll see a bit more even between these two teams. That being said, the Crusaders are 12-point favourites, so pretty comfortable to take this one out. I suppose you look at the Crusaders' playoff record at home is pretty immaculate. The fact that they've beaten the Hurricanes twice this season, it kind of lends to the fact that they are big-time favourites for this one. But Nick Berry is the ref, so neutral, being an Aussie. But yeah, how do you guys think this one is going to go? I hope it's a tight one, like we saw last week when the Crusaders beat the Highlanders. The Highlanders were able to really front up for the first half, but it was kind of the second half that didn't go their way. Hurricanes will need to be 100% for the 80. You can't be making silly mistakes, like the Highlanders kind of had a yellow card and not finding touch with some penalties. Just small things, but they really add up. When you're down in Christchurch, you've got to get it pretty much spot on. The Hurricanes, with their win over the Bulls, 35-28, the Bulls gave them a good run, which I feel like will be good, pushing them through into a semi-final, because you need to have been tested. You need to have that kind of cutting edge about you. So hoping for a good game. Hopefully it's not a one-sided affair for me as a neutral. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How do you think it's going to go? Who are you picking? How much? And yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.